We took a zero in Fraser. During that time, we did our chores. I edited the second to last video and did some research. Nate was in Winter Park the first night. I wish I'd visited him, but I did not know about the free bus yet. I found this comment in Far Out, and it suggested a route from Winter Park to Rawlins Pass. It would bypass two 13,000-foot bits, and we wouldn't have to hitch back to Barthoud Pass. After breakfast, we took a bus to Winter Park Resort parking lot, where we started our climb. The parking lot had a lot of van dwellers. I assumed they were working for the resort seasonally. We saw this staging area for side-by-sides that you can rent from an outfitter. Our route was a series of trails and dirt roads that eventually connected to Corona Pass Road. Not much is left of the town of Corona. It was a resort town that Denver socialites would take a narrow gauge train to in the early 1900s. We found the signs of an old train line just as we reached the Corona Pass Road. All along the road we saw railroad ties tossed aside, corrugated steel from some long-gone structures. In the road we spotted many railroad spikes. The road is just the old rail bed. Adam even spotted this fragment of some china with an elaborate pattern that harkened back to Corona's heyday. We edited the other artifacts on this informational sign. At the sign we joined the CDT. Right away we came to the foundation of the resort's hotel. This bit of foundation must have been the kitchen or the restroom because it was plumbed. The hotel had a wonderful view. At a spot where I rested and waited for Adam, I noticed this memorial off in the distance. So I hiked up there to check it out. I was there to remember Nicholas Finnegan Mahoney. I guess he really loved this area. There was a bottle of whiskey at the base. I assume you were supposed to drink to his memory, maybe pour a little out for him. It's always amazing to see butterflies up so high in such a horrible wind. This one isn't even a Parnassian. Finally, all the way at the top, Adam and I took a break. Out of the blue, Nate showed up. We talked so long. It was just like 2023 again. But too soon, off he went and we followed. In no time, he was just a speck in the horizon. Shortly after that, we came to Devil's Thumb Pass, where we could see the thumb on the right. Ute and Arapaho people used to come up here to settle disputes. The devil was buried up to his thumb to remind us of the evils of war. As soon as we dipped down a little from the pass, we stopped at the first campsite. It was cold and windy, so we just got in our tents and hunkered down. We only hiked 12 miles, but there was a heck of a lot of elevation gain. Near sunset, we heard, but did not see, a new hiker, Kiwizi, join our campsite. We cooked and ate our breakfast in our tent, but of course we had to finally get out in the cold. Once we got going, we found ourselves in a burn zone. Adam mentioned that 30% of the Sierra's trees are dead. Then we went on a tangent about the great PBS show Connections. The host, James Burke, was way ahead of his time regarding global warming. Some old CDT placards have been bleached white by the sun, so hikers have gotten creative with them. Yeah.
Dogs rule and cats drool!
That Indian paintbrush was only red. I spotted this purple version, and Adam told me it can also be white and yellow. He said he'd keep an eye out for some others. Sure enough, he found some. I'm compelled to always record trout when I see them. Sorry if you're getting bored of them. Saw this log turn into a CDT bench, so we just had to take a break. The CDT is the Wild West. Anything goes. The PCT only allows people and horses. This massive meadow welcomed us to Junco Lake area. To get to the Junco Lake, we followed boardwalk after boardwalk. It's nice to keep our feet dry and protect the meadow.
On the boardwalk, having some fun on the boardwalk. In the sun, on the boardwalk.
At Junco Lake parking lot, we enjoyed our lunch. We were offered a ride back to Fraser by the leader of a nature tour. Not much of a moral dilemma really, because the ride would take us back in the wrong direction. Adam grabbed a mayfly right out of a lek to show me. This female dusky grouse blended in so well I just thought it was a rock until it started to move. Adam and I both tried to remove widowmakers from the trail, but we both failed. Monarch Lake was the first of 3 lakes we'd follow the shoreline of to get to Grand Lake. On the shoreline, there was this antique log puller. We came to the Big Rock campground after a 16-mile day. In the middle of the night, we were awoken by the rain, which only got worse as morning approached. We waited for the lull to have breakfast and then another to get going. My tent does a really great job of keeping the ground dry. As we left Big Rock, we ran into Road Dog, who was making a beeline towards the campground's privy. The next lake on the list was Lake Granby. This osprey overlooked the lake as we traveled by. It rained on and off all morning. While I was on the phone with Julie, Adam got way ahead of me, so I trail ran to catch up. I've never seen so much bear scat. I won't subject you to any more. I assure you, there was a lot. Here's proof I entered the Rocky Mountain National Park. Oh, so did Adam. These fishermen were far away, but we could tell they caught something really big. On the final lake before Lake Granby, we saw this device floating. We just had to look it up. It's a pontoon vertical profiling system. In other words, it's a robot monitor. To quote Steve Mould,
how cool is that?
A freshwater pelican.
How cool is that?
Then there was the road walk into the town of Grand Lake. Shadow Mountain Lake on the left and Grand Lake on the right. Grand Lake has a popular repertoire theater. This is one of the backdrops being worked on. As soon as we were in town, we stopped at the World's End Brewery for lunch. Queasy and his friend AQ joined us. In the Bighorn Lodge, we were a little giddy watching the rain outside and not on us. At dusk, we went for a second dinner back at World's End. On the way there, we saw hummingbirds buzzing about like mosquitoes. The next day, Adam and I explored the town while I did my chores. I can't believe such a small town had 2 miniature golf courses. We had a late lunch with Adam's son, Avery. Avery was picking up Adam, his LASH complete. Adam did 87 CDT trail miles in all. After they left, I worked on the last video before getting dinner and some dessert. Snake count, 3. That's right, I finally saw another snake, albeit flat as a pancake. Trail stop checklist. Winter Park, check. Grand Lake, check.